everybody? We are back again with you today for a brand new episode. Going to be 279 today.
Wow.
Episode 279.
Time flies.
Hey, we got our new t-shirts on today. Let's see. You can see them. So our Faith and Family t-shirts.
I love them.
Got in black, in family meeting blue. So we're...
And the and sign is 2 nails to represent what Jesus did for
actually
us.
3 nails, but...
Thank you. Hang on, let me count. 1, okay, 2, 3. Got it. 3 nails.
As in 2 nails here, 1 nail in his feet. So 3 nails.
Yeah, I get it now.
1 cross plus 3 nails equals forgiven.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I bet you didn't
I just came up with that
you
right
did
now.
not. There's
Came
no
up with
way.
it right now. Trademark.
There is no way because you're not that good at math.
Trademark. Yes, I am. I can count to 5.
That's addition. JK.
Yeah. So we're excited about these new t-shirts. First place you're going to be able to get them is just about 3 weeks away or so. We'll talk about this on the podcast, but Couples Getaway in Pigeon Forge. We'll have them available on our website as well, coming up very soon. But we'd love to hear which color do you like the best. Do you like the blue? Do you like it in black? You say, I love them both. That's fantastic. You can get it in both colors available on our website soon, familymeeting.org/shop, along with the other stuff we have going on there. But so that was big. We kind of unboxed these this morning.
Yep. Went live and unboxed them.
Yep. We are currently in Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Right now with daughter Abigail for her kind of senior trip. We talked about that last episode. Going to be taking senior photos for her, getting everything ready for that.
So we have to record ahead of time so that you do not miss even a day of family meeting episode.
Yep.
It's got to go out on time.
Every single week on Wednesday.
All for you,
we've
baby.
got you covered. So hopefully things are going well for you. We are having a good time. We've got the trip coming up for Abigail. We've got a getaway, just the 2 of us, for Lysander's birthday for a couple days. The day we get back from that, which is on your birthday, January 31st, our great friends, the Beasleys, who are probably watching this right now, are going to be showing up down here in Florida.
Hi, Lucy. Hi, Grayson. Hi, Katie. Mwah. We love you.
Hi, Ashley. Hi, Dusty.
Hi, Ashley.
I didn't forget about you guys.
I was thinking about the kids. I'm excited to see the kids. I told Ashley that the kids are going to be my birthday present this year.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna spend some time holding Lucy.
Coming in town for that. And so we've got a lot of good stuff happening, a lot of fun stuff happening this time of year.
Yeah.
2026 is off to a great start for us in just about every area of our lives. Painting business is going well.
Yeah.
Family meeting stuff is going smooth. We're getting
church is going well.
Getting some events. Yeah, church has been going really well.
Yeah.
So
we're
we've
seeing
had
people have spiritual growth.
Guests come in, stick around, people making decisions, getting involved in spiritual mentoring, taking steps to be baptized. So it's people buying their first Bibles.
Yeah, it's
and
like
reading them for the
exciting.
first time. So
there's a lot of good happening in our lives right now.
we'd love to hear about the good things that are happening in your lives as well. Tell us what's going right in 2026. You know, it's like we talked about in the last episode. We can often focus in on the negative things, and there's a time to share and talk about those things, but let's kind of try to focus in on the positive things. So we know there's bad things that have already happened to you probably in 2026. Same has happened to us, but we're choosing to focus in on the good things happening. Drop it in the comments there. We would love to hear from you. So let's see here. We are at episode 279, and this episode came in response to somebody you met at Target, you said, right?
Yes, but I wanted to share that when we actually start the recording of the podcast, too.
So, but don't go into great detail, but just kind of fill them in a little bit on what's going on.
So a mom at Target said, my kids fight all the time. And she just kind of looked like, help me, my kids fight all the time.
Like a stranger you met?
Stranger. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So...
That's where this episode came from. And I'm like, man, how many other parents are feeling like her? I know I felt like that sometimes.
Oh, there were times.
Yeah.
Our girls, it wasn't really physical fighting, but yeah.
It was cutting with the mouth.
And it's still that way. Mm-hmm. There are times even as 20 down to 15 is the age range for our 4 daughters. But I think it'll be a helpful episode. Looking forward to it. And without further ado, we will jump in. Episode 279, Family Meeting Podcast. Here we go. Gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The Family Meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. We're the Osterkamps. I'm Thomas. This is my wife, Lysandra.
Hello and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 279 of the Family Meeting Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to discuss what to do if it seems like your kids fight all the time.
Oh, we've been there at certain points in our parenting journey, and it is exhausting. It gets so old so fast.
Yes. So if you're tired of yelling, "Stop fighting," and you want to teach your kids how to handle conflict in a healthier way, then this episode is going to give you the clear tools and hopefully some encouragement to bring a little more peace back into your home. That's our goal for today.
Before we get into the conversation for today, we've got some exciting news here at Family Meeting.
We do.
We have our brand new t-shirts, our Faith and Family t-shirt. Says Faith Family, and it's got 3 nails as the and sign. For those of you who have been watching on YouTube, they got a first glimpse at it. As far as the podcast is concerned, we did do an unboxing. And so on our social media was the very first sneak peek live. Actually, it was the first time we saw the t-shirts themselves.
Yep.
I did design them. We picked out the colors and everything together, but we saw them for the first time with those of you who joined us on our Facebook page. So if you're not yet on our Facebook page or a follower, make sure you go over and follow the page. But we've got them in black, Family Meeting blue, and you say, how can I get one? Well, your very first chance to get one is in just over 3 weeks at Couples Getaway in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. That is Mark Harvey and Barnhart Baptist Church. They have their event going on. So they'll be the very first ones to be able to get their hands on this new design for this year. Shortly after that, we will make sure it's available on our website as well, familymeeting.org/shop. So keep your eyes open for that. If you can join us in Tennessee, we would love to see you there for that event. Or maybe you just want to stop by and grab your t-shirt.
Absolutely.
Hey, totally fine.
We will meet you in the parking lot and sell you one out of our trunk.
Like a drug deal.
No, just kidding. Actually, they'll all be inside at our book table.
We will let you take us out to dinner, and we'll sell you a t-shirt afterward in the parking lot.
So the listeners are going to buy us dinner and then pay us to get a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
part of the trying to get your hands on it first, right?
Oh,
so
I see. Supply and demand.
Exactly. Costs a little bit more. You got to put a little bit more effort into it. But honestly, we'd love to see you at one of our events this year.
Yes,
We've got a great lineup so far. And typically, it's only January now. Typically, we'll probably pick up 3, 4, maybe even 5 more events, depending on how the schedule plays out. But coming up in Tennessee, we're going to be talking about marriage under pressure and focusing in on some of the outward pressures, inward pressures, and the fact that those pressures don't have to ruin your marriage relationship. Sometimes people allow them to, and they cave under the pressure. But what we want you to understand is that it can refine your relationship instead of ruin it. So it is going to be a great time together. If you're looking to just get away, it's a great opportunity to do that. Kind of Valentine's Day-ish. It's near that. It's just after Valentine's Day, the 19th through the 21st. So
surprise your spouse with tickets.
Exactly.
And as their Valentine's Day present.
Good time to get away.
And it's a time in a hotel, away from the kids where you can have your own time. It's great.
So for more information on that, keep your eyes on our socials, and we'll make sure you have all the information that you need. You can also shoot us an email, info@familymeeting.org, or message us through our socials, and we'll get back to you ASAP.
Help! My kids fight all the time. This is how some people feel.
Well, and we've felt that at times.
We have felt that way. And I will say that was the look on this mother's face in Target the other week. I was at Target with my girls, and this mama had the two cutest little girls. And I was like, I pointed to my daughters. I was like, this is what you have to look forward to. And she was like, I can't wait. These kids fight all the time. All they ever do is fight. And she just looked so frustrated and worn out.
Well, and I remember times where it was like, are we ever going to get through this? And so for those of you parents who are in it right now, listen, we know that the days are long, but as we say, the years are short. So
They are.
Eventually you will get through all of that. There is light and life and peace on the other side of that battle.
Yes, right. But this poor mom, she just was so, she was kind of like at her wit's end. That's how it felt. And she was looking for help. And I gave her a family meeting podcast card to like invite her to listen in. And basically she was like, will it help me with their fighting? And I thought, like, I know we've done episodes in the past on kids fighting. It's sibling rivalries. We've done episodes on conflict resolution and teaching your children, which all of that's going to come into play in today's episode a little bit.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do an episode that was specifically for all of you parents who have those younger kids at home, and it feels like all you do all day is referee fights. It's exhausting.
It is. You know, UFC's finally back after 42 days off, and I'm so excited about that. I love mixed martial arts and love watching the UFC events. And some of you feel like some of the referees in these mixed martial arts contests where it's like you feel like that's all you do all day is just referee your kids and their fights and their arguments, and it gets annoying. And it's funny because our kids are older now. We have, for those of you who knew the podcast, we have 4 daughters, age range from 20 down to 15. And there's still times where I'm like, really?
I know.
Like just
Are you fighting about this?
So just the other day, I want to let you know this. Like we're not the perfect family.
No.
I know if you look at, the cover photo for our podcast, it looks like, the perfect family. The husband, the bald husband.
He's so handsome and muscular. He's perfect.
The wife that is just so gorgeous all the time. Never a hair out of place. Always breath that smells minty fresh.
Nope.
4 beautiful princesses all lined up in a row, and that amazing dog. The part about the dog is absolutely true all the time.
He's pretty perfect.
Coconut is great.
And is a princess.
He is a princess also. But we have life that happens also.
Yep.
So like,
it's real.
Just the other day, I was getting ready to leave here, meet you at a paint job to get started painting. And I can hear upstairs the girls are fighting. So one of our girls had started watching the cartoon movie Brave.
From like 20 years ago? I
don't
how
know.
old is Brave
I have
now?
no idea when it came out, but it's been a while. So your phone's not even supposed to be on. How are you looking up?
I'm going to look up Brave.
So
I turned off all my alarms. We're safe.
She started watching Brave. And then the other night while I was waiting for Lysander to come home, I just laid around. A couple of the girls were in. Actually, no, it was just Abigail at that point. Abigail was upstairs, and I went to be with her. It's 13 years ago, 14 years ago.
Yep.
Almost 14 years ago. Brave came out June of 2012.
Yeah.
But so I went just to spend time with Abigail, and I'm like, watch whatever you want to watch. Put on whatever you want to watch. So she saw Brave was popped up there, so she just pushed play on Brave. And our other daughter, who had started watching it, it was maybe the next day. I think it was the next day. She was like getting after her sisters, and like they were fighting about how you watch this movie without me. This
You're
or
not
that.
supposed to watch it without me. You're supposed to watch it together.
Yeah.
Every couple has had that fight too.
Exactly.
By the way.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. What do you mean you watched our show without me?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was getting heated, and I kind of yelled up the stairs. Not really yelling at them, but just raising my voice so they could hear me. And I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. Like,
let it go. End it now.
So I'm still refereeing stuff all this time later. But I was really like, you're over a movie you can just start over again? Like, you've seen it. You know what's going to happen. You probably have the whole thing memorized.
They do. They quote that movie.
It's crazy. Like, so it still happens, but you do get to a point where it's like, at least it's not all the time now.
Yeah, yeah. And if you put in the work to help them with the fighting when they're young, it will be better when they're our kids' age. Although it won't be perfect. Nobody ever promises you perfection. Just don't be shooting for perfection. You're just going to fail and it's miserable. But shoot for better, right? So how can we do better? So what we really want to talk about is, how can you reduce the sibling conflict? How can you restore peace quicker when there is a conflict? So that's what we want to really talk about. And we want to, really talk about kids who kind of, it feels like they're fighting all the time. And we don't want to just start with, we're not going to start with like jumping right into preventing it. What we want to look at, first of all, is why sibling conflicts happen and what's normal and what's not normal. Like what's okay.
Yeah.
What's like a red flag. Like we have a real problem in our home where we may need professional counseling, or one of my children has very violent, volatile tendencies that are not average. Like this is above average. So we want to look at that kind of stuff before we jump into what to do with the fighting.
Well, and when you're in the midst of it and it feels like it's happening all the time, you're like, is this normal? This can't be how every family is. Well,
exactly.
Every family is like that, depending on how close your kids are in age and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of factors, but conflict is going to happen.
Yes.
You live in close proximity to each other. It happens with husbands and wives, so we ought to know that it's going to happen with kids as well. Mm-hmm. It's a side effect of growing up with someone who shares your space, your caregivers, sometimes your stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And so completion, their competition for attention, for stuff, like all that.
There's a lot of competition.
Differing personalities and developments. They're learning social skills. Mm-hmm. There is perceived unfairness sometimes, and sometimes there is unfairness, and they just notice it.
Right.
And just plain selfishness, right?
Yeah.
We're all born with that selfish desire in us. So when you have people in close proximity, there's going to be disagreements, arguments, and a lot of times, especially when kids are young, they just don't have the social tools that they need to be able to handle it in a right way. So
and I love the idea of emotional regulation, right? So like, the more mature you are emotionally, the more you can regulate your emotions and handle things. But then there are times, like our kids are little, they don't have that yet. And you, as a parent, are the one guiding them through it. So it's tough. But let's talk about what's like some normal sibling conflict, okay? Because maybe you're looking at your kids and you're like, are my kids demon possessed? Or like, do I need to actually go and get medication for these kids? Because sometimes that is what ends up needing to happen, okay? But let's talk about what would be kind of typical, average, what you want to maybe call normal, which that word is a little difficult to describe, but conflict that would happen between siblings, all right? So it's generally, and remember there are exceptions to the rule, generally considered normal when arguments are occasional, not constant.
Yeah.
And there again, this is all relative, but conflicts are verbal, so that would be like arguing and complaining.
Your kids are relatives too.
Yeah, they are. It's all relative. So verbal, most of the conflicts are verbal, yes. And then mild physical conflicts. So like maybe pushing without injury, or maybe like a bite or a hit or things like that. Like that kind of stuff is going to happen. If you have boys, you most likely have boys rolling around, wrestling each other, pinning each other to the ground, maybe choking each other out.
A lot more physical contact.
A lot more physical, but that's still pretty normal.
My brother and I, we would often get physical. Like that's how we settled things.
Right.
Physical, work it out, and then once that was over, we're good.
But you weren't sending each other to the hospital typically, like
not typically. No, I mean I have a huge scar on my arm where my brother cut me with a knife, but other than that, like.
All right, now would that be considered normal sibling conflict?
In our house, yes, I would say if someone's picking up a knife on a regular basis, that's probably not a good thing.
Right, absolutely.
I would say that's under what I'm going to talk about in just a minute, where like that's concerning.
It's concerning, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, when there is a conflict, whether it's physical or verbal, that the relationship can recover and the kids can connect afterwards. So like it blows over eventually, right? Power feels relatively balanced so that not one kid is always the victim. If you have one child who's always the victim and you have one kid who always wins every fight, you have a bully. And that's not normal or average. And the relationship includes positive moments, not just fighting. So sometimes they do get along. Sometimes they are able to share or have a fun game together or whatever. So basically, if they every once in a while, yes, they fight, and every once in a while they play together. That's normal. That's pretty normal. It's an up and down relationship with a sibling.
Yeah. So you're gonna have those things. It's gonna happen. But you say like, okay, how do I know if I should be concerned about this? And you ought to pay a little bit closer attention if one sibling is consistently afraid of the other.
Right. Because you have times, like, I remember being a kid and being chased by my brother, and I was always, like, afraid that he would catch me, right? And if he did, he would hit me, and I would hit him, and we would fight and stuff here and there. But there were times when I'd be after him with, like, a licorice whip, and I was going to whip him with my licorice. So, like, there were times when he was afraid of me.
You sound really old right now.
I am old. I am 40.
I was chasing him around with my licorice whip.
That was so mean.
Oh, man.
To me and all elderly people.
It's just how you sound to me right now. But yeah, if they live in fear of one of their siblings, that's a problem. That's an issue that needs to be investigated a little bit closely. If there's, like Lysandra said, ongoing bullying, humiliation, or manipulation.
Yeah.
So, and it's just ongoing. And you see it, you notice, you're paying attention to it. If it's happening all the time, some of these things are going to happen from time to time just with siblings and living together, and it's part of learning social dynamics and conflict resolution and all of that kind of stuff, standing up for yourself. So, like, it's going to happen sometimes as they grow up, but if it's all the time and it's always one direction from one kid to another, a lot of times older, younger, but not necessarily. Sometimes it can be the other way around. Sometimes it's a brother to a sister or vice versa. But also, if you have physical aggression that causes injury or is escalating.
Yeah. Broken arms. Like, if you have a child who's breaking their sibling's arm.
Yeah.
Like, that's not normal.
Not normal. No. Conflict is constant with no repair or warmth. If it's like you're going back to like Joseph in the Bible days, where it tells us like his brothers only spoke of him evilly. Like they never said good morning to Joseph. It was only ever negative interactions together. Like, that's a problem. They can't sit down and just watch TV together. They can't sit down and just play video games or board games or something together, go outside and shoot hoops. Like, there's a problem there that needs to be investigated, and you may need to sit down with them and a counselor or have them go to counseling, but get to the bottom of why is there never any kindness or warmth, and figure out exactly what's going on there. It causes you to say, hey, this is not the normal behavior that siblings should have towards each other. Something has to be done here. We need to check this out. If you feel like you're always putting out fires, and that kind of pattern goes beyond normal rivalry, you may need outside support.
Yep.
But if you can look, like sometimes it feels like we're always putting out fires, but just pay attention and watch them and see if there is times where they're kind, where they're loving to each other, where they are peaceable with each other.
Absolutely. Okay, so we want to talk to you now about setting clear boundaries and expectations for conflict, because you have to know that it's going to happen, right? We talked about some conflict is normal. It's normal to have them fight, right? Yeah. But how can we set boundaries and expectations for conflict? So in our marriage counseling, we call this the rules of war. Each couple is asked to create items that they believe should be on the list of rules of war. So like no name calling or no walking away from a fight unless you express that you will be
No
coming
threatening
back.
divorce.
Yeah,
certain
things like that. So those are rules of war for adults, but it's good to have that for kids too.
Well, and we're talking about fighting, so this is going to come up a lot, probably. But it's like mixed martial arts once again. Like there are rules. I know if you don't know anything about it, you look at it and think there's just no rules. They just go in and do whatever. But there's a lot of rules, and so there's rules about what they can hit on a person, when they can hit somebody. Are they standing up? Are they down on the ground? Are they vulnerable? Like there's a lot of rules that are involved. And one of the things the referee does, like they already know this when they sign the contract and everything else. But before they go and they walk out to the cage to have their fight, the referee meets them in the locker room, each locker room, and goes over the rules and just reminds them of what's allowed, what's not allowed, and kind of sets the standard and the boundaries for what that conflict's going to look like. Mm-hmm. And we need to make sure that we're doing the same things with our kids as well.
Right. And then the referee is there in the ring and enforcing the rules. And that's where a lot of us parents slip up, is we don't enforce the rules that we have in play. And if there's no one to enforce the rule, every single one of us knows we will not follow the rules. Yeah. Humanity will not follow the rules if there's no one to enforce it.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Well, and the thing too is like the rules aren't just given one time.
No.
Like they know the rules ahead of time. The referee goes over the rules again. As they get ready and they're in the octagon and getting ready to fight, he'll remind them of a couple other rules. So like there's this constant reminder of, hey, these are the rules. There is going to be conflict, and in life, we're fallen humans. We have sin nature in us, even if we know Jesus is our Savior. Conflict is going to happen, but it's our job to make sure. And every time there's conflict in our home with our kids, it's an opportunity to remind them what are the rules of conflict. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, what is the goal of conflict? I think we'll get to that later on. But you're not just saying this one time. Part of making it clear is repeating them and making sure that they know them.
Yeah, you're creating a culture in your home. So you've got to separate what's allowed and what's not allowed. And you have to be very, very clear. We have a book coming out about discipline. And this is one of the most important things about discipline, is being very, very clear. Yep. If you have vague rules like be nice, that's vague. Be nice, that doesn't help in the heat of the moment.
No.
You have to be really clear and have simple boundaries. Like you can be mad, but you can't hurt, or words are okay. You can express your words, but you can't hit, you can't kick, you can't bite, you can't throw a toy at them. And then what are the words that are allowed? Okay, let's be specific. No name calling, no threatening to kill you. I'm going to kill you. That should not be said from parents to children or from children to other children.
What about children to parents?
Yeah, children should not be saying, I'm going to kill you to your parents, okay. Although I've had a daughter say that to me.
Yeah.
But we won't go into that right now.
Not right now. But she was very small. She was like a toddler. Yeah.
She was trying to marry daddy. So she was
Lysandra did not sleep for a week after that.
She's like 4 years old. And
we actually took shifts sleeping. I watched her while she slept.
Keep us both alive. Actually, I feel like now we have to tell that story.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to tell the story.
You brought it up.
I brought it up.
Yeah.
It was Violet Rose. She's our youngest. She's 15 now, but she was probably 4, maybe 3 or 4. Like
I don't even think she was 4.
She was not speaking clearly. Like that's how little she was. And she said, I'm going to marry daddy when I grow up. And I said, Mommy's already married to daddy. You can't. And she goes, then I will slit you in your throat while you sleep.
Yeah.
That's what she said. And it was like so specific. And it was
in her little cute little voice, just like matter of factly. And it was
matter of fact with a smile.
So dark.
I know. The whole family stopped and was like, okay, we got to watch this one.
Well, and it was like, where did she get this from? Because like we monitored when our kids were very small. We monitored very closely what they would watch.
They had no tablets or games or anything that they could have seen anything like that.
Like even now, my 15-year-old, and she just did this 2 days ago. She texts me and says, Dad, I want to watch this show. Can you check it out for me? Yeah. So like even now, like when they go to watch something new, I will look into it and see if it's appropriate for them to watch. So it was like, where in the world did you come up with this?
I do not know. It was so creepy. It was so creepy. And she and I have a great relationship, and she's very loving. but
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
That was scary.
It was creepy. But anyway, so just setting up these rules of war, what is allowed in your home and what is not. And I will say that in our home, there were things that were not allowed that were allowed in their friends' houses or their cousins' houses.
Yeah.
Things that they were allowed to say to each other that I would not allow our kids to say to one another. I'm probably oversensitive about kindness. And so I was really particular. And I think even you probably would have let them say more than I let them say.
Yeah, most definitely.
I was much more particular about what they were allowed to say and what I felt was crossing the line.
And so you're going to be very clear about what is not okay. But you're also going to teach the how of conflict. Okay, so not just the no. Mm-hmm. And I would also add to this, like, we don't teach our kids no fighting.
No, that's unrealistic.
Because conflict is going to happen in life, and so part of parenting is teaching them how to handle conflict when it arrives. And some conflict is important and it's necessary, and so we want to make sure that they have the tools that they need. And so part of the issue that our kids have is they don't yet know better tools, and so they bite. You know, kids grow up, and before they can even talk, what are they doing? They're biting.
Yep.
That's the only way they know how to resolve the issue that's at hand. So our job as parents is to give them the better tools so that they can handle conflict appropriately. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to give them scripts.
Yes.
Right? We're going to teach them what to say and how to say it, how to express themselves verbally. In a proper way that's not using some of the name calling and the threats and the physical violence that we talked about already. So you're going to teach them how to say things like, hey, I'm still using that. Mm-hmm. No, there's a right way and a wrong way to even say that, but it's like you're expressing yourself. Like, I'm still using that. I don't like when you do that. Can we take turns? I need a break.
Yeah. And
so you're giving them scripts. And I see this happen even in the gym now. It's like a lot of these phrases right here are ones that are happen in the gym. It's like you step away to go refill your water, and somebody like jumps in on the machine because it's madness at Planet Fitness where I'm at. And it's like, hey, I'm still using that, and everybody's respectful. It's like that's something they can respect that. Or like, hey, can I jump in? This just happened to me just the other day. I was doing an exercise, and a guy was like, hey, you mind if I work in with you? Like, yeah.
No, that's nice.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't have to escalate into this whole big thing.
Yeah.
Like,
to throwing punches in Planet Fitness.
That has happened in Planet Fitness before. So.
Yeah. So I very vividly remember these scenarios when our girls were little. And I think about when they were, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all those ages right there. And I remember taking one of my daughters who would get mad. No, walk over to this daughter. Now you say to her, that was mine. I was playing with that. Okay, now you say to her, I'm sorry, I didn't know you still wanted it, and you give it back. And like literally, it was like putting together a little play, like a little skit, making them walk through the motions, making them say the words.
Yeah.
Because then there were times when I'd be doing dishes and I could hear them doing that. Like they had practiced, I had walked them through it, and then later on they could do that for themselves. But this takes an obscene amount of work.
Totally, yeah.
It is exhausting. You have to do it over and over and over, and you have to put down the phone, or you have to put down the pot, or set down the whatever you're doing.
Turn off BritBox.
Never. And you have to go over there and you have to re-walk them through the whole skit again. Now you need to say, please, I'd like a turn with that. Please, I'd like a turn with that. All right, now you say, in a minute, I will give you a turn. In a minute, I will give you a turn. Does this sound like a fun day?
No.
This is what I did every day of my life for years, by the way. And it is tiring, but it's so worth it because then we did have kids who were really kind to each other.
Yeah.
Overall. It was worth it.
Yeah. But you have to do this. You practice this when they're calm.
Right.
Right? Not mid-meltdown. It's like these fighters that get ready to go in for competition. Like they're practicing the legal way to compete in that cage every single day. And you're going to have to do this, especially when your kids are young. You're going to be practicing all the time. Like as you handle conflict and you resolve conflict, and then you go back over it and you practice these phrases, practice giving them the right tools in order to handle conflict better the next time. Yeah. But yeah, when we're in the middle of meltdown and you're literally pulling kids apart, that's not the time to.
No.
All right, now just say I'm still using that.
Right.
Like that's not the time.
No. Now we want to also set expectations before the problems happen. This isn't expectations for like what is allowed and what isn't allowed. This is expectations for how they fight. So you're making sure that they understand, like, not during or in the middle of a blow up or a middle of a drop down, fight. You are talking about this when everything is calm so that they know this is what I expect when you get into a fight with your sibling. So before the high conflicts arise, before, there's issues, you want to say this. All right, if there's a problem, I want you to try to solve it with words first. If it turns physical, I'm stepping in immediately.
Yeah.
If you can't solve it, you can ask for help. Okay, so it feels like consequences are predictable, but also like we're giving our kids some time to work through it because we can't step in so often that they never do develop tools to handle conflict. So letting them work through it is good if they can. If they can't, then they should always know, you can come to mom and I will step in. And this is still something that I'm doing with the girls. Try to talk to your sister first. If that doesn't work, come to me. And this is biblical out of Matthew 18 as well, if you want to look that up, Matthew 18, 15 through 18. And that is a principle of how to solve conflict anyway.
Well, even now, it's like when I hear there's a conflict happening between the girls, I don't say anything for the most part unless things start to get out of hand. And I just listen. I let them take care of it. And then if there's issues that I need to address later on, I will. But.
Right. Now, if it's physical, you need to get in there because, for me, I don't want my stuff broken as they're like throwing punches or rolling around on the floor.
Throwing stuff at each other.
Yeah. So I don't want that. But also we want to protect our kids from physical harm. So you may have to get in right away. And I mean, we raised 4 girls. So like there was never a hitting or punching or
not
wrestling
often,
allowed.
It wasn't
It was
really
never
allowed.
but it was also really happened. But do you think if we had boys that you would let them kind of go at it for a minute before you step in, or would you step in immediately if it was physical?
It depends on the physical, right? So if someone's going to be hurt, I would step in. But part of, I think, especially boys growing up, is that physical, like that's part of their development as well. So, it's hard to exactly say because I don't have boys. Mm-hmm. And our girls rarely took things to a physical level. So I would say if somebody's going to be harmed, you definitely step in. Definitely step in if someone's going to be harmed.
Absolutely. And it's sometimes hard to know, like, is this going to a harmful place or is this normal, like boys tossling around?
Yeah, because especially with the boys, it's like the testosterone and all that, like that's part of the growing up process is working through all that, right?
Yeah. So this next one is, I think, maybe one of the most important things. And if you can do this, you will stop a lot of fighting in your house.
So you've got to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And this is hard. Even when you're tired, you've got to be consistent.
Yeah.
Boundaries only work if they're reliable, right? So we've got some friends of ours. It's somebody I knew growing up, and we're friends on social media. They recently moved to the state of Florida over on the other coast, and they're working at fixing up this house. And they had a really old, rusty fence they tore down and are going to put in a nicer, taller fence because they have a couple of really big dogs. And so they had to put in like a wire fence, but it's not in the ground, and it's only 4 foot tall, and so it's not really like reliable to keep their dogs in.
No, that would not work at all with
so
big dogs.
their dog can jump over it easily. So that boundary doesn't work.
It's useless.
And so the same thing is true when it comes to our kids and the boundaries we're setting as far as what's allowed for our kids. Like, they have to be reliable, which means we have to be consistent. Mm-hmm. When rules are broken, it's our responsibility to step in like that referee.
Yeah.
Like it or not, you're the referee.
Every time.
And sometimes that's a lot when you're teaching them to work through it.
It's all day
certain
long.
ages, and if they're very close together, that can breed a lot more conflict. So, but you want to keep consequences short and related. Mm-hmm. So, maybe it's a loss over a toy that's being fought over. Maybe it's a brief separation, cool down time. Maybe you're going to do the get along T-shirt.
Yep. The big T-shirt that the kids have to sit in together.
Did you do that with your brother?
No, that didn't exist back then. But my dad did make us hold hands over an open Bible on kindness, and we had to read scripture together holding hands, and it was like torture. I did not want to touch my brother, let alone hold his hand.
Yeah.
And we had to hold both hands with the Bible in between our hands.
Yeah, that sounds...
My dad took a picture of it. There's a picture somewhere.
Oh, we've got
got to find
to
the
see
picture.
that. That's got to
I don't
come
know
up on social media somewhere.
I'll find the picture. It's pretty funny. You can see we're just both like miserable.
That is really funny. That's super funny. It seems a little cultish, kind of, but... Tell me you are a very conservative Baptist homeschooler without telling me you're a very conservative Baptist homeschooler.
Here's a picture. Actually, I have several pictures of those.
Exactly. Yeah. So another thing, and I'm saying this for Lysandra's benefit, avoid long lectures.
I don't want to hear it.
I'm
not listening.
Yeah, I know you're not. Make sure you're calm. You got to be firm. Mm-hmm. And then repeatable phrases work best. So you want to make sure it's something the kids can repeat.
Yep. Like for us, it was kindness, kindness, kindness.
Yeah.
They had to say it 3 times. Kindness, kindness, kindness. Or we would say sisters first.
Sisters first. We would make them say part of Ephesians 4:32 as well, right? Mm-hmm. Be kind one to another.
Which, by the way, any of you who listened to episode 275 and you heard our girls take over this podcast, when they sang Ephesians 4:32, that is where they start. We started making them sing the verse when they were little because it's easier to memorize that way. And so that's why they had to sing that verse, is because I taught them that song when they were little, when they would be unkind to one another.
Yeah.
And so they had to sing or say the verse. Mm-hmm. And then of course later on we'd work on resolving the conflict, which we're going to talk about that in a minute. But they had to do that every time. They were mean.
Yep.
You know, and so it was like consistency, and consistency is hard.
Part of the learning process. But here's something that is so important to understand, because a lot of times we think that it's all about intensity when it comes to our kids. But that's not the most important thing. There are times to be intense. So like if someone is going to be physically injured, or if they're in danger, like intensity matters and it grabs their attention right away. But sometimes we can be guilty of just defaulting to intensity because it's easier. It's easier for me to raise my voice than it is to consistently have these conversations and train them how to handle conflict in the right way. So we kind of default a lot of time to intensity, when really the thing that is the most important and the most effective as far as those two things are concerned is consistency. So consistency beats intensity every single time.
Absolutely. I thought of another phrase that we used to say when they were little, and they say it now to each other, but your tone matters. Your tone matters. Like, it was the way they were talking to each other. They could say the same words, but in a different way, and it became mean. So I would say to them, your tone matters. And so that was one of those consistent, calm phrases that we added in. Here's another thing. Try to stay neutral during the fight. You want to resist the urge to pick maybe your favorite. Now, Thomas believes everybody has a favorite.
Every parent has a favorite. If you tell me you don't, you're lying.
That's what he believes. I don't believe
you may
I have
be
a
lying
favorite.
To yourself, like Lysandra, that you have a favorite.
I don't believe I have a favorite, because every time I try to consider my girls and decide which my favorite is, I think about each one, and I'm like, oh, but I love that about her. Oh, but I love that about her. And I can't pick a favorite.
You have a favorite.
Whatever.
You definitely have a favorite.
So pay attention to that, though, when in a fight. I do not stop
you do.
it.
I'm not going to say who it is.
How do you know?
Because I know. I live here.
Whatever. You don't know.
I live here.
So instead of saying this is like, oh, this is the stupidest thing you can say. This isn't the stupidest thing you can say, but it feels like it. Who started it?
Yeah.
This is what my dad used to say. I don't care who started it. I'm finishing it.
Yeah,
that was my dad's quote.
That is a total dad thing to say, and especially during that time period.
Oh, yeah. He would say that.
Back in the 1900s.
Yes, a long, long time ago. And it really doesn't matter who started it because they're both fighting. So, like, let's try to just get to the bottom of this thing. So rather than saying who started it, what you can say is, I see two kids who are upset. The rule is no hitting. I see hitting. Hitting is wrong, and go through it. So you're focusing on behavior and not trying to blame someone for starting it or for being the antagonist. Because the bottom line is both sides have something that they've done. Now, this is kind of funny. Because I have conversations with our girls, even now, when they have disagreements about dishes or the bedrooms, they're not cleaning their bedrooms. They haven't done their bathroom chore. And so it's like the shared space is not to the other's liking and whatnot. So I will go to the sister who is complaining to me about, the one who's not cleaning properly or whatever. And I'll say, listen, they've been really busy. They're working, they're going to school, or they've, this has just been a hard time for them right now. Let's give them some grace and whatever. And then I'm going to the other sister who's like, they always complain about me. I'm never good enough. It's never clean enough. They don't understand that I have all this. And I'm like, give her grace. She likes things a certain way and you need to be more understanding. Well, later what I found out is each sister thought that I was telling only them to give the others grace.
Yeah.
And so what they thought is like, you never make them do anything. I'm always having to give grace.
Like you're always on their side.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm telling everybody to give everybody grace because that's what we need to do. We need to chill and be kind and be more understanding of each other and figure out how can we work through this together. And so I'm coaching both sides. And anyway, so
they think you're choosing sides.
They think I'm choosing sides because I'm always trying to, encourage forgiveness and grace. So you've got to be careful on this, not choosing sides, and making sure that you're focusing on behavior, not blame, which that is going to reduce tattling and power struggles. Although I used to tell my kids, like, it's okay to tell on your sister when they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know when your sister is doing something wrong. And if you need more information on this, I recommend the Bluey episode, Dobbing.
Oh, my gosh.
Dobbing. He's a dobba.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's tattletaling in Australia, apparently. Is dobbing. But it's very, very cute episode.
But the thing is, like, when you jump in and play the judge all the time, you take away the opportunity for them to learn how to work through it on their own.
Right.
Is there time to jump in? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But try to just stay neutral if you can, as long as you can. Let them try to work it out to the best of their ability, and then only step in when you really need to step in.
Yeah.
And then another part of this whole process is teaching repair after conflict.
This is an important part.
And so the goal is always resolution. Like, we want the relationship to be resolved. So boundaries aren't complete without repair. So when everybody is calm, we just talk about it. What happened? Okay, how did we get to this point? How do we get to this point of conflict? What can you do differently next time? How can you make it right? Mm-hmm. And repair might mean an apology. It might mean helping fix something, right? I don't know how many times I broke stuff on my brothers and my sisters, and they broke stuff on mine. Like, it may mean giving space. Like, they just need a little bit of time right now. Mm-hmm. So the repair looks a little bit different in each scenario, but the goal is always repair. It's always resolution. And we make sure our kids know, like, that is the goal of a conflict, is always to bring it to a point of resolution where the relationship is good again. And so if, going back to what we talked about with things to be concerned about back at the beginning of this episode, is like, if your kids are never kind to each other, part of the problem is they've never been brought around to resolution. They've never been brought to the point where things are repaired after conflict. And so we need to make sure they know, like, that's the goal of all this. Whenever there's a conflict, the goal is always to bring it and get it to where things are repaired.
That's right. And when they're really little, you have to really walk them through this, which is giving them the scripts. I'm sorry I stole your toy. I forgive you. Like, you're literally walking them through exactly the words to say. And then as they get older, you're still walking them through that. I mean, like, even now, I will have to sometimes be like, what should you have said to your sister? Because that wasn't very nice. And they'll be like, I should have said this. Yeah, exactly. Okay, this one's really good. This feels like a bonus thing, right? Like, this one is something that I think if we did this more often, it would reduce the fights that we see. And that is acknowledging effort. So like when the girls were little and one of them would share their toy, I would, I feel like I'm always washing dishes. In my memories, I'm always at the kitchen counter washing dishes or cooking.
6 of us, and
that's all I did. So
there's always meals and snacks and all that with the kids.
Always. So I'm like in the kitchen and I'm looking out and I see them playing and sharing their toy. And I'm like, I'm so proud of you for being a sister who shares. That was so good, and like saying that, like noticing when they give their toy or when they can work through a conflict without it escalating. I would say things like, I'm so proud of you for working through that without being mean. I love seeing that kindness. Look at that kindness you're doing. You're so kind. And like praising what is good. I want kindness in my family. So how can I achieve that? I can praise every moment that I see kindness happening. And even to this day, we do that. And it looks a little different now. We'll put on the group chat, like when Isabella did dishes for Catherine, who worked all day and then went right on to serve at youth group. Put on the group chat, Isabella, that was awesome that you did Catherine's dishes on a stressful day. Thanks a lot for helping her. And of course, Catherine would chime in and say thank you too. So acknowledging that effort, catch them when they're trying. You were angry, but you used words. That's good. You're doing better, or you walked away instead of hitting. I'm really proud of you. Good job. That was hard. So whatever you can do to reinforce the behavior you want to see.
So let's talk a little bit about some practical strategies. Some of you have been waiting for this portion of the episode is like, okay, what are some practical things that I can do to reduce daily fights and build healthier relationships? And one of the things that you can do and start with is just try to reduce the predictable fight triggers. So, we all have routines. Mm-hmm. Every family has patterns that they go through, and the patterns do change over time and seasons depending on what's going on in your life, but you have very predictable patterns going on in your life right now, whatever age the kids are. So most sibling fights are on repeat. Mm-hmm. In other words, you put them in a scenario, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be a fight at this time about this topic.
Right.
And so there's common flashpoints. A lot of times it's mornings and bedtime. Mm-hmm. Right? They're tired on both ends. They're waking up and they're tired getting ready for bed. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it involves screens and devices.
Yes. Who gets to choose what to watch? Whose turn is it to play on the tablet? Whose turn is it for the game? Who picks the game? Yep. On and on and on.
So, that's going to be a flashpoint. Mm-hmm. Shared toys or space. Right? So that's going to be one. Hunger. Kids get hungry. They get hangry, just like you do. Mm-hmm. Exhaustion. They get overly tired because of an event or something else.
If our kids missed a nap, it was a guarantee they were going to fight later.
Yep.
That's just the way it went.
And then transitions. So any kind of transition is an opportunity, most likely, that there's going to be an issue. Mm-hmm. So as a parent, you want to make sure that you understand when each of these flashpoints are happening that you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready, and you've got to know, and you've got to understand most likely there's going to be an issue that's going to come up that I'm going to have to deal with. And so when you're vigilant and you're on guard, you're paying attention to what's going on.
Well, and you're trying to prepare your kids for these scenarios. Like, okay, I know, we haven't had a snack for a while. I know that you're getting hungry. We are going to have a snack as soon as possible. You're trying to prepare them for this or whatever it may be. Like, okay, you always fight over that truck. So I don't want any fighting over that truck. You're going to take it for 5 minutes and then you're going to pass it to your brother for 5 minutes, So how can we prepare the kids for these things and alleviate the fight that would normally happen?
All right, you're going to watch TV for a while. Okay, so remember to be kind to each other, You're reminding them and trying to help them to not have conflict as we move into one of these flashpoints. So, and some of the things that help with this are routines that remove negotiation. So, like screen time is a big one, right?
Yeah.
That can cause a lot of issues. So you're gonna be clear on this. Like screen time ends at 6. No reminders.
Yep. And there's no wavering. So you can't talk me into longer. If your child talks you into longer screen time, they're going to do that again.
Yep.
Like that's going to happen again.
So if you're getting ready to move into one of these times or into one of these flashpoints that often causes conflict between your kids, maybe we're going to have snack time before that. Like take away the hunger part of it.
Yeah, you've got one less issue going in.
Exactly. And so you're thinking about steps you can take to kind of lower the possibility for conflict to take place in that environment. Clear turn-taking rules for shared items, especially when they're small, when they're young. And so also warnings before transitions.
These ones were so important in our family. We did this.
So especially small kids, transitions are hard. And even for our teenage girls, it's like I will often, give them a little heads up before we leave. It's like, hey, and especially on Sundays. Sundays are, it's a high stress day for me specifically. But all our girls serve at church, and we've got to be there early to set up and all that. And of course, I live with 5 beautiful ladies, and they like to make sure that they look nice and they feel good about themselves before they leave the house. Some days that goes smoothly. Other days it's like, you wore that last month, whatever, and felt beautiful. Today, nope. I don't.
It's trash.
And so even though the pattern's the same, I often let them know, like, hey, 10 minutes before we leave. So maybe even with your kids, it's like, hey, 5 minutes, we're going to leave the park.
3 minutes. 2 minutes. 1 minute. Last time, go down one last slide, and then we're leaving.
Yep. And so we
had to do that every time.
But the smaller they are, the more reminders and warnings that they'll need before that transition happens. But here's the thing. Fewer surprises equal fewer explosions.
So true.
So the more they can see and know, understand at their level what's happening, and of course you don't tell them too far in advance, right? But
yeah.
you give them the warnings they need when they need it. That'll lead to fewer explosions. So I think one of the practical steps also, as the kids get older, you need to make sure you're moving from referee to coach.
Yeah.
You're coaching more than refereeing.
Right. That's the goal.
When they're real young, mostly what you're doing is just refereeing. And you're coaching some. As they get older, like our girls now, it's like 99.9% of the time we're coaches. Every so often we've got to step in and be the referee because they're having a hard time working out themselves. But even as adults, there's times where we need a referee to step in. And so we go to counseling, we go to our pastor, we go to somebody else that we can trust, say, hey, you know what? We need somebody. We need an outside perspective to help us bring resolution to this. Nothing wrong with that. We all need that from time to time. But as they get older, you're kind of transitioning to more of a coach.
Right. So coaching phrases may sound more like, I hear yelling. What's the problem? Or tell your brother what you need, or what's a solution you can both live with? Because this is more about, it's coaching. It's not just going in there and solving the problem.
Right. It's like what I did the other day with the stupid Brave movie. It's like, hey, this is not that big a deal. Like, I'm not settling anything.
No, you didn't go up and say, like, you're going to turn it back to the spot that your sister wants, or you sit and watch with her. Like, you didn't do that.
It's like, work it out, but just, hey, little reminder, you're getting a little heated over a Disney movie.
That's 13 years old?
So.
You've seen it 14 times?
Yeah, more than that. I've seen it more than that. But it's like, just a reminder, like, hey, this is not a big deal. Like, this doesn't need to go to level 10.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing you can do is build in separation. Okay, your kids don't need to always be together every moment. And if you build, like, absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? So
Yeah.
have the nap times in separate rooms. Maybe just have quiet times in separate rooms. Maybe have playtime in separate rooms. Build in some separation blocks into their time where they play alone for a little while or read alone or even get a screen to themselves. Something like that where they can have some time alone and they're going to be more happy to get back together again and play together.
Well, and there's a reason why there's a saying, familiarity breeds contempt. It's like if they're together 24/7 constantly, then conflict is most likely going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, the opposite side of that is a great thing. Sometimes we just need time, especially depending on what kid it is and their personality and everything else. They need a little bit more time by themselves.
Yeah. And I think another thing that you can do is create some time, one-on-one time with just you as a parent with your child, where they, the other siblings are not with you. It's just me and mom or just me and dad. And we're having that special time together. And that is going to help reduce conflicts later on.
So we have 4 daughters. How did you kind of establish making sure that the girls have alone time?
It was really hard. We did it intentionally. And if we didn't do it intentionally, it wouldn't have happened because even with the intention, it was difficult to make it happen. So our daughters, like when they were younger, they would have been 1-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old. So very close in age and always there. And we homeschooled, so we were always together. So this looked a little bit different for each kid, but what I would try to do is, like, if Thomas was home and I needed to go grocery shopping, I would only take one child instead of all 4.
Yeah.
Moments like that would count.
Which you still do even now if they ask for it.
Yes, I do. Now they know, like, the older they got, probably once they hit, like, once everybody was like 11 and up, probably maybe 10 and up even, I would say if you would like time alone with mom or dad, you have to just ask, because otherwise everyone's always invited. Everyone's always invited when I run errands. Everyone's always invited when I go to the park or when I go meet a friend or whatever. But if you need time alone with me, if you feel like, it'd be nice to have a little time alone, all you have to do is tell me. And then when the other girls come and say, I want to go too, I say, nope, this is time for just me and your sister. And that was how we did that. And not all the girls needed the same amount of time alone.
Yeah.
Some desired more than others. So that helped with that. But when they were little, I had to do it myself. And then another thing that we did was every birthday, they got a birthday date with daddy. So just that daughter would go out to dinner and then get birthday money to go shopping with. And we still do that to this day. They have their birthday date with their dad.
And she takes our son Coconut on his birthday walk.
Yeah, it's very sad. So I was supposed to take all the sons on their birthday dates. It didn't happen.
I got the sweet end of that deal.
You really, really did. But that's time, like, they know at least once a year they're going to have alone time with dad. But they also get alone time with you at different times where you'll watch a movie with them, take them for a drive.
Go to the beach or
Go to
whatever,
the beach, just one kid. So it's really just how you can make it work in your home. And being intentional. Like, how can we build this into our calendars, into our schedule? And it doesn't have to be a special, like, expensive thing. It can be like, you're the only kid who gets to go to the grocery store this time.
Yeah.
We can't afford to always have a big fancy day out with one of our kids, 4 times a month. Like, we can't do that.
Exactly.
So it's more, and it's not about what you spend money on. It's not about, although I always get them like a little treat or something, but it's not about that. It's about time together. A conversation. That's what it's really about.
So another practical step is to make sure you pair together. We've already talked about the importance of bringing and finding resolution, but you want to make sure that you walk them through this together, not separately. Mm-hmm. So after a fight, don't just send kids to opposite corners. When everybody's calm, let each child share their side. Ask what they'll try next time. Help them reconnect, whether that's an apology, a hug, a drawing, small act of kindness, depending on whatever stage they're in, whatever their age is, something that is appropriate to bring the resolution about. Because remember, repair builds trust, and it reduces repeat conflicts. And you're teaching them how to work and how to resolve things for themselves.
And it's so important to model how you want them to handle conflict. You have to model that for yourself.
Yeah.
So they need to see you repair conflict with your spouse in an appropriate way or with another sibling. Like they should hear you say, I'm sorry to your other children or to them. That's because you're going to make mistakes as a parent. When you do,
Yep.
you need to own it, recognize it, say, I'm sorry, name it. All right. So they should hear you say things like, I'm upset. I'm going to need a minute. My kids, my kids now make fun of me for this. But when they were younger, I would say, my stress level is up to here. I need a minute.
Yeah.
And I would always say it's up to here. And they would, of course, they would imitate me like
At other times.
totally
yeah.
crazy person.
Yeah, totally.
But I would say my stress level is up to here. Like I can't handle any bickering from you right now, or I can't handle, but I would tell them like for me, that was my way of saying like DEFCON 1, like this is, I'm going to lose it, So whatever it is for you to communicate to them, like I'm upset, I need a minute in a healthy way where you're not yelling or you're not like throwing something or whatever. They need to hear you say, I was wrong. We make our kids say that.
Yeah.
Our kids have to say those words. I was wrong. They have to say, I am sorry. They need to see you modeling the behavior that you are trying to get out of them because you are teaching, even when you're not necessarily trying to. What is this smirk you have on your face? What are you thinking?
You made a statement. I want to understand what you're saying.
Okay, I said something wrong?
So you use DEFCON 1.
Yeah.
So in your mind, what's the levels of DEFCON? Which one's the highest?
I think DEFCON 1 is the highest and DEFCON 5 is the lowest.
Okay. So now before we use illustrations, what do we talk about?
Knowing what it is.
Make sure you know what you're talking about. Okay. So
DEFCON levels.
yes.
5, normal peacetime to DEFCON 1, maximum readiness for nuclear war.
Okay.
DEFCON 1
Yes.
is the highest.
Yes. I just wanted to be clear about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you think that I used it wrong?
No, I just was like, you use that like it's something you say all the time. And
No, but I
don't
know
that
what
I've
it
ever
means.
heard you say it before. So I was like,
Yeah, I've said that before.
I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah, DEFCON 1. It's like emergency. And I'll tell you where I know it from. I don't want to tell you.
Oh boy, here we go.
It's from the
person
Santa
show.
Claus. It's from the Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
The elves go to DEFCON 1. That's where that phrase is in my mind.
That is so funny.
It's from the elves. Oh my gosh. Can you not call me out like that on the podcast? Thanks. That'd be great.
But I was just curious. Like, I don't recall you ever saying that ever. So I'm like, okay,
So you should be proud of me for nailing it.
you did. I was just
I
curious.
nailed it.
Yeah.
I used it right. I said it in context.
Yeah.
I said it with confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be glowing with pride.
I was just
over me
curious
right
about
now.
where this information came from because I've never heard you, like, you're not a military person. So I was like,
I am a Christmas elf military person.
yeah, you are. Yeah. So the importance of making sure that you model it correctly.
Yes.
And then, as we talked about, you have to accept that some conflict is healthy. Zero fighting isn't the goal. Like, the rule is not no fighting. The rule's not don't fight. That's going to happen. Learning how to disagree without harming the relationship is the goal. So, like, we're not always going to see eye to eye. Lysandra and I are super close. I don't know how we could possibly be closer in 10 years. I'll probably say we're closer than we are now. But we agree on just about everything. But there's things that we just don't see eye to eye on from time to time. And disagreements happen. Conflict happens. We fight in our marriage. We think that you should too. It's going to happen. Now, how you do that is important. And so your kids are going to fight. They're going to fight among siblings. And really, the fight they have with each other and the fights that take place in the home are practice for learning how to have disagreements and conflict once they leave the home with their friends at school. As they grow up and they move into a work environment, they go to college and have roommates, there's going to be disagreements that are going to happen. We need to make sure that we're training and equipping them so that they can resolve those conflicts without harming the relationships that they have.
Right.
Conflict can be a tool that helps to build relationships and draw relationships closer to each other when the conflict is through.
Right.
So it's a great opportunity for them to grow closer together as siblings. Here's what progress looks like. So you're saying, like, how do I know if I'm making any improvement? First of all, is there less physical aggression?
That's a win.
So if there's less physical aggression, that means they're learning and they have been equipped with better tools and they've started using those better tools. Physical aggression is like the lowest tool that you can possibly use, and should only be used in very, very rare instances where you've got to protect yourself or protect someone else. But that's the first tool that we ever learn. So if that's happening less, that means they're learning how to use better tools. Maybe it's faster calming down. Like the explosion doesn't take as long to get over because they're learning how to regulate their emotions. Once again, we're giving them tools in order how to do this and become better at it. More problem solving. So it's like they're figuring out how to work through this on their own. They're learning how to share, how to take turns and choose who's going to watch TV, or a lot of times, like our girls do, what are they going to have for lunch? A lot of times they take care of their own. So it's like, okay, I want this. How do we problem solve that? There's more positive moments between fights.
Yeah, that's a win too.
So like there's more peace, more positive interaction in between the conflict that's happening. Those things they all count. And they're all positive signs that progress is taking place. So notice even the positives. However small the positive is that steps they're taking in this area, it's something, as Lysandra mentioned, to make sure you take note of and make sure you talk about it and let them know that I see that. I see the progress that you're making, even if it's small.
And we have a bonus resource for those of you who feel like your kids are fighting all the time and you want just a little more than just this podcast. It is a sibling conflict reset plan, and we want to email that to you. If you would like it, just email us at info@familymeeting.org, and we will shoot that over to you, and that can hopefully be a big help for your family.
So family meeting tonight, you're going to sit down with your kids, and you're going to have a conversation about conflict resolution, making sure, as Lysandra mentioned, that you're being very clear about how we handle conflict in this home. You're going to let them know, we recognize conflict's going to happen, but this is how we handle it. This is the right way to handle it, and this is the goal of conflict, is to bring resolution and draw the relationship closer together. So if you've not taken time to do that, or maybe it's been a while, it's time to revisit that and have conversations about the conflict in your home. If it's going well, hey, talk about what are the good things that are happening. If it's like we have a serious problem when it comes to conflict in this home and how we resolve it, point it out, name it, and say, this is what we're going to do to change this situation.
Okay, thanks for joining us today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you've found this information helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
And we want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting as we discuss how clutter affects women's stress hormones, but not men's the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. Now, obviously, we talk about this anytime we talk about, menness, womenness. There's outliers. Not everybody falls into that category. We recognize that, but for the most part, it is very different.
Yep, and so we're going to talk about that next week. I think this is your line.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting, it wasn't on, we didn't flip the note. I was like, what's going on here?
Remember when I messed up my lines and you were like, we say the same thing every week. How do you not know what to say? I'm saying it right back to you, buddy.
Yeah, but I didn't know that was the actual end.
Yeah. Okay.
So, adjourned. That was really funny because I was like, okay,
You're
what?
Such a goober.
I literally was like looking at the end of the page and I'm like, How do we end episode? Like, we're 278
But
episodes.
that's the thing.
and
If you don't have the
279.
lines, you don't know because your mind's everywhere. Like my mind's already on what we have to do when we're finished with this episode.
278 times up to that point. And I'm
That
like,
was funny.
I literally am like, how do we end an episode? Like, what do we normally do?
All right, no more making fun of me.
Oh,
if I mess up the
it's
lines.
going to happen.
No more making fun
No
of me.
promises. No promises. But hopefully things are going well as far as conflict in your home. What are the things that you would add to what we talked about here? What's worked well for you as you teach your kids how to handle conflict resolution? Share those tips and information in the comments to help out other parents who will watch this episode. And we'll see you after Lysandra's birthday next week.